Hello, this is Mike Nielsen. Today we're going to talk about 5 tricks about character profiling. Now, if I have to get real about this is basically 5 things you need to know about character profiling. And if I have to get even more real, this is more about what you're going to use it for, which is create characters with greater depth and to avoid simple mistakes like mentioning that one of the characters' eyes are blue 200 pages into the story, when earlier on page 43 you said they were brown. So a character profile helps avoid these kinds of mistakes and also helps you create better characterizations. So let's get started. The first thing we need to look at in terms of the character profile are the basic stats. And those are things like name, age, nationality, socioeconomic levels, hometown, where the character grew up, residence, the current residence that is, occupation, what does the character do for a living, income, salary, does the character have any siblings? Those could play a major part of the story. Does the character have a spouse? Well, that could be somewhat important as well. Kids, parents, grandparents. Does the character have any significant others? And what kind of relationship skills does the character have? Those are all very important things to know about your character. Throughout this video and basically all videos I create, I'm going to try to create some real examples. Now, I'm not going to use all the basic stats mentioned before, but I am going to use some of them. And in this case, the character is called Warhawk and is a character I'm actually using in the story. So his name is Wade Kelly, also known as Warhawk. He is 25 years old. His residence is Quantico, Virginia. He's a soldier. He has one older brother and one younger sister, and I do expect those two to play a big part in the story. His parents are deceased, and he basically doesn't really have any significant others. His relationship skills, he comes across as a bit of a player, but there is a lot more depth to him than that. But that's something I'm not quite ready to define right now, but the way I see it, this player type of attitude is more like a sort of defense mechanism that he's using. Next up, we're dealing with the physical characteristics of the character. And that obviously means things like height, weight, race, eye color, hair color, skin color, glasses or lenses, shape of the character's face, distinguishing features, style, and by that I sort of mean how does he dress, how does the character dress, is this character fashionable or doesn't he care at all, what are the character's mannerisms, habits, how's the health of the character, does the character have any hobbies, are there any speech patterns and sayings the character uses? Does the character have any disabilities, flaws, or specific qualities that you want to keep in mind? Wade Kelly, or Warhawk, has the following characteristics. He is pretty tall at 6'3", pretty heavy as well, African American, brown eyes, black hair, but he's shaved it bald. I don't know if he has a beard or anything like that. I haven't decided that quite yet. He's athletically muscular, and that's what I kind of wanted to come across with his weight. That, well, he's pretty heavy, but it's sort of an athletic, muscular frame, not like a bodybuilder or anything like that, but you could still see that he's someone you don't really want to mess with. He's well dressed and always looks sharp. That's something, his appearance is important to him because he feels that it's something that says something about who you are and whether or not you can be counted on. He's a bit brash. His health is outstanding. He's in perfect health. He's very interested in sports of various kinds. I could see him playing basketball or football when he's not at work. He seems sometimes to be emotionally detached, but that, in my opinion at least, serves mainly as a defense mechanism. He's staunchly loyal to his friends. That's a very important quality for this character. Now we're going to talk about the attributes of the character. And by attributes, I mean things like education, intelligence, mental disorders, life goals, both short-term and long-term, perception of himself and how others perceive that character, at least how he thinks they perceive him. Whether the character is ruled by emotion, logic, something else, or a combination of those two or something else. What embarrasses the character and stuff like that. What does it take to embarrass him? Our character, Wade Kelly, has the following attributes. Educationally, he is a college graduate. I haven't determined the field yet, but he also has military training. He's smart, but he's not a genius. He is a college graduate. Obviously, that's no guarantee that you're bright as such, but he is pretty smart. He wants to go on live missions. That's something he hasn't really been doing so far, at least not unless it's been an emergency. And then he wants to avenge his parents. That's his long-term goal. And that obviously indicates something's been going on with his parents. He thinks of himself as weak, which is kind of funny, but that's one of the things that drives him to do better all the time. He's ruled by a mix of logic and emotion. I think in many ways he's a balanced character, but there are also things in the character where times when he's more ruled by emotion than others. Failure is something he finds greatly embarrassing, and it's something he wants to avoid at all cost. And now, as they say, to something completely different. Emotions and spirituality. And that obviously is something that's important for most characters. That what we're dealing with here are strengths and weaknesses, whether the character is introvert or extrovert, how the character deals with various things in life, such as anger, sadness, change and loss, what the character would like to change about himself and his life, what motivates the character, what makes the character happy, whether the character is judgmental, generous, stingy, polite or rude, what the character's spiritual beliefs are, whether religion and spirituality plays a part in the character's life, and how it plays a part. For Warhawk, Wade Kelly, the following things are true about his emotions and his spirituality. Wade is very focused on his goals, and that sometimes makes him miss critical things in life. So he's got this sort of a laser focus that enables him to focus on just one thing, and that makes him miss other things. So that works both as a strength and a weakness. He's a natural extrovert, but he also does use it to hide his feelings a bit. When things go against him, he becomes more determined to overcome him. So obstacles sort of makes him even more determined to do better. He has a strong faith in God. I haven't determined exactly what church he belongs to and things like that, but I know it's something that's important to him. Wade is very generous to his friends, and as mentioned earlier, he is fiercely loyal. Next up, we have to determine how the character is involved in the story. Not all characters you create a profile for will be the main characters of the story. But that's the first thing you have to determine, what the character's role is, whether he's a main character or, well, just some other type of character involved in the story. Then it's a great idea to sort out where the character first appears in the story. That helps you plan when to start getting the character into the story. The character's relationship with other characters is important. And for Warhawk, that goes as follows. He is the main character of his own storyline. I'm actually creating a storyline for himself. But his storyline and Warhawk is also part of a greater series, and he is also one of the main characters in that series. The character first appears in the story called Point of Discourse, which is part of my Force series. He is shown in that scene, so I've determined that's his first appearance, really. So the first appearance is outside of his own first book. That's how I'm rolling with this one. His relationship, well, he's an already established Maker working for the government, and I imagine that is going to cause some strain with some of the other characters. So that concludes the first video in this series of videos I'm doing, 5 tricks to character profiling. If you do this for all your characters, you will have a lot more depth in your characterizations, and the interplay between the characters will be a lot better. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe down below, and please do comment on the video what you thought of it, and feel free to suggest other topics for videos also down there in the comments.